A question on viewing distance. And I'm with the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers, which is the body that standardizes and does different practices through the ANSI, American National Standards Institute. Now, there's one technology committee that's called the Projection Technology Committee, and they have discovered that if a person goes into a darkened movie theater while the movie is on and chooses a seat, they will take a seat that's either 3 to 5 screen heights from the screen. Now, I'm wondering whether the 3D technology is going to change that when we hear stories about nausea and so on.
I think I should pass this one along, but that's a fabulous piece of information. I think you're going to find it makes more difference how straight onto the screen the seat you choose is going to be. But Phil has the...
I would just add that you know how you select your seats in the airplane and they tell you how much extra that costs to sit in that place? Just wait.
So, you know, I was deeply involved with the standardization of HD for North America. And in doing that, we ran thousands and thousands of subjective assessments where we let participants choose where they wanted to sit and then determined where the best range was for the visual quality of that experience. And so you're right, between 3 and 7H, right, with the optimum for SD being 5H and the optimum for HD being 3H, are where people usually sit. Now, can you configure your average living room to that? The answer is no. So you live what you have. Now, we ran one study at the beginning of last year where we, in a darkened room, let users choose where they wanted to sit for 3D. We did this for 2 reasons. One, we wanted to understand whether they would gravitate towards the viewing distance that we used for HD, as well as we let them go off axis to see how far they would go before the experience broke. Both of them matched HD except for the off-axis viewing. In the 3D experience, depending on how far they wanted to push it, they'd go farther. Whereas with some display technologies, when you're watching HD, they don't want to go off axis at all. They fight for that center spot, which is typically 3H away. Sure.
Yeah, let me make a comment on that.
Sure.
A challenge with current 3D is that it's not real 3D. Okay, when you view it from the side, the z-axis comes towards you. So as you move laterally, watching a 3D display, you get a depth distortion. And we also have, in some of our studies, we've had people view from different angles, and yes, their report of the immersion experience is lessened if they're at an angle. So I think, to answer your question, which is consistent with the other observations here, is that I think 3D makes it more critical to be viewing centered and probably at the correct distance.
I noticed I was in the large screen projection business for quite a few years, and a lot of my commercial customers, like restaurants and nursing homes and so on, I like the biggest screen you can give me, you know, a 10-foot diagonal screen, 22-foot diagonal screen, and had some customers who had a viewing distance of 8 feet, and they wanted a 10-foot screen. I wouldn't sell it to them because at the time, which was going back 20 years, you would see the elements, the pixels or whatever. And so viewing distance has not been mentioned recently, and I was at Sears. I noticed that they have a 5-step system for choosing your large screen TV. And for the first time, I've noticed that one of the factors is viewing distance. So congratulations to Sears.
Thank you. You want to pass it right next to Andy?
Thank you.